This is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thank you so much for joining us. Our top story this afternoon, a school bus tragedy out of Tennessee. The National Transportation Safety Board says investigators are on their way to Chattanooga. The team will examine the scene of a deadly crash that killed at least 5 elementary school students yesterday. ABC's Jim Ryan has more.
The bus, filled with more than 30 elementary school students, ran off the road and slammed into trees.
The bus is flipped over. It's occupied with children.
Pictures of the wreckage show the yellow bus on its side, wrapped around a tree.
We heard the crash, and we went outside to look, and we saw that the bus had turned over and apparently had hit a house across the street. They were escaping through the roof hatch.
As emergency crews struggled to free the children from the mangled bus, worried parents waited to hear what happened to their kids. Craig Harris's daughter, a stepson, and a niece were on the bus. They're okay.
I almost lost it, really. And I had to sit down and really just gain my composure. I had to calm my wife down and other family members that were also affected by this. And it's something I never want to face again.
5 children died at the scene, 1 boy and 4 girls, 3 of them 4th graders. Several children are still in the hospital, some in serious condition. Residents stood in long lines to donate blood. Chattanooga police say they're looking at the speed of the bus as a factor in the crash. They've charged the bus driver, Jonathan Walker, with vehicular homicide and reckless driving.
We've received a search warrant and executed a search warrant for his blood. The investigation as it proceeds will let us know if there was any outside influences on his ability to drive a car, to drive a vehicle. We don't know at this time.
Authorities will review black box data and video from the bus to figure out exactly what happened. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Chattanooga.
Follow up now to a story we told you about last week. A Northport baby that nearly drowned in a bathtub last Wednesday has died from complications from that incident. Northport police say the infant died in the hospital over the weekend. First responders were called to a home on Traverse Avenue last week after the baby was found by a family member in a bathtub. The case remains under investigation. A Sarasota air conditioning maintenance worker will pay restitution and serve 5 years probation for using scare tactics to try to sell units to customers. Lawrence Ebbs Jr. pleading no contest in court yesterday to 2 counts of grand theft. According to court documents, Ebbs, who worked for All Seasons Comfort Specialists, would show up at customers' homes in Northport for a routine maintenance checkup and then tell them their units were leaking poisonous gases. The charges came about after the state investigated complaints. New at noon, Sarasota County moving forward to bring more movie making to the Suncoast. During today's County Commission meeting, commissioners voting 4-1 to replenish the financial incentives program that will bring more films to the Suncoast. $213,000 will be earmarked for the program. New County Commissioner Nancy Dietert spearheaded the movement during her time as a state representative. The county reportedly paid out nearly $400,000 over the last 6 years for a variety of productions filmed in the area. In other news, Sarasota City Commissioners approving the redevelopment of the oldest shopping center in the city. The Ringling Shopping Center has sat nearly vacant for years. Redevelopment plans include rezoning the 9 acres to a residential and commercial development that could include more than 200 condos. Developers wanted to build a Walmart at that site, but opposition from neighbors caused the city to deny those plans.
Well, I think it's a shame that they didn't let the Walmart go in here. I mean, this plaza's been empty for a long time. I think Walmart would have brought, made it be much better than what they have right now.
Some people say that we've talked to say that they do not think the area needs more condos, but they are glad something's being done about the empty plaza, which was built way back in 1955. In Manatee County, a major street in Bradenton is reopened after being closed for months. The Bradenton Herald reporting 51st Street West opening to traffic this past weekend. The portion between 9th Avenue West and 18th Avenue West has been closed since June for a sewer replacement project. 50-year-old pipes and deteriorating sewer manholes were all replaced. Commissioners say it was a difficult project, but they wanted the roadway open by Thanksgiving. A spectacular sight in our skies late last night. A fireball from a meteorite plummeted from above the Gulf of Mexico. This is not an actual photo of that fireball, but represents what it looked like. ABC 7 meteorologist Josh Stone reports to have seen it around 11:20 last night, said it looked as bright as the sun. Many of you have been sharing your experiences of shaken windows, rattling doors, and freaked out pets as it not only lit up the sky, but created a rumble as well. Meteorologist John Scalzi's been looking into a little bit on this. And John, what have you found out today?
I talked to Dr. Cook from the Marshall Space Flight Center, and he said that indeed they got about 100 messages about this particular event, and it was in fact a meteor a meteoroid actually that became a meteor and probably became a meteorite as it hit the ground.
Yeah.
So it was probably about as big as your fist, traveled at about 40,000 miles per hour, and vaporized as it hit the atmosphere, lighting up the sky. And he pointed me to one EarthCam video that we have for you. If you take a look at it right now, wait for it. It comes, it's on a loop, but it takes a while. Look how bright it was. And that's not really even seeing all of it. Started about 16 miles to the southwest of Siesta Key and plummeted out in the ocean until it disintegrated about 15 miles above the Earth, above the Gulf of Mexico. And some of the little particulates probably entered into the Gulf of Mexico as meteorites out there. So go fish if you can find them. But quite an amazing sight. I mean, it did obviously make the sound as well. People could hear the sound. It was what's not quite called a super bolide, but it's still called a bolide, meaning that it probably was large enough to be picked up by satellite-based video processors, but not large enough to be picked up by the worldwide global network that could pick up, say, the one that occurred in Russia a few years back and injured like 2,000 people. Right. But there are apparently lots of this stuff. They all come through unannounced. They're not being tracked. There is a mission by NASA to perhaps track the ones that are as large as a kilometer across and could, basically end life on Earth if they crashed on Earth. But that's 10 years down the road and certainly lacks funding to really do a fabulous job, but they hope to. Anyway, Titan radar not showing a drop of rain around here. As we head into the afternoon, we're looking at temperatures that'll climb into a very pleasant afternoon. I think for most folks, 76 degrees in Sarasota right now, 75 in Bradenton. Warmer today than yesterday. And tomorrow, the warm-up continues. We'll talk all about the forecast in just a minute, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. A moratorium in the city of Palmetto blocking any automotive businesses from opening up could become permanent. The Bradenton Herald reporting city commissioners will take up a new proposed ordinance on the issue in a meeting next month. Last April, Palmetto put into place a 6-month moratorium on new auto repair businesses. That moratorium came about because of old city codes that do not allow businesses to use their properties for open storage. The new ordinance will cover a smaller area of the city than the existing moratorium along 10th Avenue West. All month long, we're focusing on the future of the Suncoast in a series of special reports called Suncoast 2037. Today, we examine community policing. Growth and technology will likely change the landscape of how law enforcement solves crimes, but what about how officers relate to the communities they protect? Sarasota Police Chief Bernadette DePino says she does not believe community policing will change.
I always believe that community policing, that partnership policing, will be part of the city of Sarasota because in the long run, policing is still about human beings, the police interacting with citizens in the community.
Chief DePino also believes technology will play a big role in the future of community policing, with more reports being done online and possibly face-to-face interview changing to online interviews. Mayors from across the Suncoast coming together this morning to help families in need. As part of the Mayor's Feed the Hungry campaign, volunteers handing out Thanksgiving meals at the Mount Carmel Community Center in Palmetto. This month in Sarasota and Manatee counties, food was gathered specifically to support this event. And we've got some great food in our kitchen today. Let's check in now with our guest chef of the day, our good friend Chef Eddie Iziri from Apollonia Mediterranean Grill. Eddie, great to see you again. What's on the menu for today?
Hi, Scott. Thanks for having me. So today we'll be preparing a pistachio-crusted rack of lamb served with couscous and a sunny side-up egg.
Ooh, sounds delicious. We'll see you in a little bit. Chef, thank you.
Thank you.
When caring for my wife alone became too much for me, I called my long-term care insurance company to get help from granny nannies. Now the most wonderful nurses help me with her care.
A helping hand and a gentle heart.
The all-new MySuncoast.com. Just another way we're here for you.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back.
Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions Now.
Call 1-800-565-7740. That's 1-800-565-7740.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School, serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, A-N-D, services.com.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Mom needed more care than we could provide, so we called Granny Nannies. She now has around-the-clock caregivers, and we have peace of mind. Thanks to them, she's where she belongs, at home.
A helping hand and a gentle heart.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
Current air temperature is 76 degrees. We're on our way to a warm afternoon, certainly warmer than it was yesterday, with lots of sunshine around and a dew point still very dry at 29. You get a dew point like that, it just feels so comfortable, to me anyway. Now, there are some folks who will say that that feels a little too dry, that you want to almost humidify the air. The skin feels dry. You know, maybe your sinuses are irritated by air that dry. It's almost desert-like dryness. Second day in a row for dew points in the 20s in the afternoon. East-northeast wind coming in at about 8. If you like it a little more humid, you'll get it, because coming in the next several days, we'll see a wind shift that'll draw in some more humidity, and that will help to keep our nighttime temperatures a little bit warmer. Got chilly again this morning for a lot of folks. Wauchula coming in at 69, Arcadia at 70, so's Mayaca, 69 in Parrish, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch, 70 in Northport and in Venice, 68 degrees Longboat Key, and Sarasota, the hot spot, coming in at 76 degrees. So very dry across the entire peninsula, no rain falling anywhere. Don't expect to see any today with air this dry. Not only at the surface, but aloft as well. You hardly see a cloud anywhere on satellite composite this afternoon, and without the clouds, of course, you don't get any rainfall, and so consequently our Titan radar is absolutely clear of any echoes. We are watching a couple of things on our weather maps. One, a departing area of low pressure out of the northeast. That's good. Get rid of that. It's produced a lot of lake effect snow, up to 20 inches in upstate New York. High pressure now building in will continue to travel to the east. As it does so, that's what switches our winds around to the east. We'll be on the underbelly of that high pressure ridge, and the circulation around it, of course, will bring us that easterly wind. Then back to the west, we have another frontal boundary, this one exiting out of the Rockies, developing and tracking off to the north and to the east, will produce a pretty good swath of snow and rain and freezing rain, just in time for one of the busiest days of the holiday travel season. That heads off to the north and to the east, also kicks off a line of pretty intense thunderstorms tomorrow. And that could be a weather woe anywhere from the northern Gulf waters all the way up to Chicago and back to the western Great Lakes in terms of snowfall, freezing rain, etc. Minneapolis, St. Paul today probably getting a fair amount of freezing rain on the ground before the end of the day. That frontal boundary will eventually just kind of dissipate as it gets closer to us, so rain showers not in our forecast. Even though that front passes through on Friday, you'll hardly notice it, except that maybe it'll give us another shot of drier air and maybe lower our temperatures a few degrees, but still beautiful, beautiful weather right into the weekend. For today, warmer, lots of sunshine, no rain in the forecast. That's a simple one. That'll carry us through the next couple of days. Watch the effect of that east wind. As we put the RPM into motion, you'll see clouds heading in this direction. I don't think we're going to see any rainfall around here, but the cloud cover will be increasing as we head into Thanksgiving Day. Plus that frontal boundary coming by. By the way, we have a new named system, Tropical Storm Otto. 70-mile-per-hour winds, pretty close to hurricane strength, carried it on a path that takes it close to the Nicaragua border. This one will produce a lot of rainfall in Central America and perhaps some flooding rains as well, mudslides, that sort of thing. Hopefully it'll move quickly. Northeast wind coming in at about 10 knots, switching to the northeast and getting lighter this evening. And the 7-day forecast looks pretty nice. We'll get up to about 81 degrees on Thanksgiving Day. And then as we head into the weekend, a series of those fronts that I showed you will be passing through, keeping our temperatures in the mid-70s. So some nice weather coming up, Scott.
Sure looks like it. Thank you, John. In health news, a new smartphone game on the market is helping scientists detect dementia. In the game called Sea Hero Quest, players are asked to sail on a global adventure in search of precious artifacts in the form of memories that can be collected at different locations around the world. And as you progress through the game, scientists can use the data generated to gain insight into your navigational abilities, which is one of the first skills people lose during the onset of dementia. Dementia is a collection of symptoms such as memory loss, difficulties in thinking or problem solving, and reduced ability to navigate. More than 2.4 million people have played the game since its launch in May. Speaking of dementia, a new study shows cases of it have actually dropped in recent years. Dementia rates fell by 24% over a 12-year period beginning in 2000. The decline means about 1 million fewer Americans are suffering from the condition. Doctors say that's good news, especially since there's still no cure for Alzheimer's disease. Switching gears, a play is showing at the URBANITE Theater in Sarasota that centers around two dwellers and a hungry coyote. John is with a special guest to tell us more about it. John?
Thank you, Scott. Yeah, Daniel Kelly joins us now, associate. Tell me again your title.
Artistic Associate.
Artistic Associates with the URBANITE Theater. Wonderful, our premier black box theater here in Sarasota. This is an intriguing title, and even more intriguing protagonist, I guess.
Yes.
A wolf or coyote.
Coyote, yes. It's a pretty wild show.
How does this unfold?
So we have two complete strangers living in this apartment complex, and they live very, very mundane, repetitive lives with no meaning, with no purpose, and they're really trying to look for their purpose and greater calling in life. And one night, this coyote appears on their fire escape. And so we see these characters face to face with this wild creature, and we watch them slowly develop a relationship with this coyote as it appears on their fire escape night after night after night. And the play really takes some wild turns and twists, and we watch these characters follow the coyote back into the wild. And it's a really wild play. It toes a line between a lot of different genres. It's a dark comedy, it's a psychological thriller, and it's a social commentary.
And you have an actor portraying the coyote as well, so it's got a little bit of Equus thrown in there.
I'd like to keep that a little bit of a secret.
Okay.
Playing the coyote was required a little bit of imagination and some theatrics, but I would encourage you to come check it out and see how we put that coyote on stage.
I love your theater because, you know, it shows the kind of shows that you're not going to find anywhere else on the Suncoast. You're really not. And as a black box theater, it has a very intimate feel to it. Did all of that come into play when you decided to direct this show? I mean, do you take advantage of the intimacy of the theater?
Absolutely. I mean, any show that we are considering producing, we have to think, you know, how can this live in our space? It's a small theater. We have about 60 to 65 seats. You're right there on the action. You're with the characters and actors the entire time. And this show really does lend itself to be in a small, intimate space so that you can really be in this pressure cooker
Yes.
that we've created. So the audience is on the edge of their seat. They really are face-to-face with these actors who are then face-to-face with this wild creature on stage. So it does create a very kinetic atmosphere.
It's an interesting dynamic at your theater because you're at once so close to the action that you're involved, but at the same time, you don't want to make the audiences uncomfortable. That's a difficult line to toe for you.
Yeah, we do like to push the envelope a little bit.
Yes.
We had a couple theater goers that chatted with me after the show. They said, okay, we were on board for the first half of the show, and then you started pushing us away, but then you grabbed us and pulled us back in.
Oh, that must be fun to hear.
And that's what we're trying to do. We are trying to push that boundary a little bit because it is about entertainment, but it is also about human connection, and it is about exploring the stories that we don't get to explore every day.
The dates are on your screen. Contact the URBANITE Theater. I tell you what, this is theater like you won't see it anywhere else in Sarasota, Bradenton, or anywhere else in the region as well, I think. It's extraordinary and exquisite theater. Thanks for taking a moment, coming in and
Thank you so
telling us
much
about your production.
Thank you, John.
We'll be right back.
Download ABC7's free all-new news app at your app store today.
Batteries Plus bulbs keep stacks of batteries for cars, cell phones, watches, plus light bulbs for lamps, can lights, and appliances right on hand. Did I mention we also repair smartphones? Batteries Plus bulbs. Trust the plus. Visit Batteries Plus bulbs today.
You only have one life. Are you gambling with it? 1 in 3 adults have high blood pressure. Not knowing your numbers could cause you to lose, big time. Luckily, you can turn the odds in your favor by getting your blood pressure checked today. Don't leave your health to chance. Learn more at heart.org/HPB.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust. Alex Karras Lincoln's holiday sales event is here. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKC Sports Utility for $269 per month, or a 2017 MKZ for $299 per month. We are proud to introduce the newest addition to the Lincoln lineup, the all-new 2017 Lincoln Continental. We have a great selection and ready for immediate delivery. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury. Winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Sun Coast since 1978. We're located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
Being the caregiver for someone you love is truly a blessing, but sometimes you can lose a part of yourself. To be your best, for them and for you, it's important to have time to be able to recharge your batteries. When you call Tidewell Hospice, they can give you a chance to do just that, and with the peace of mind of knowing your loved one is in the very best hands. Tidewell Hospice, it's more than you think.
The Venice Indians and the Charlotte Tarpons are the only high school football teams still left standing for the regional finals. Charlotte takes on Fort Myers, while the Indians are at home against Eastlake. ABC 7's Don Brennan talked to the Indians about the challenge ahead. Don?
Scott, Eastlake is a team that the Indians know very little about. They didn't play them. They had no common opponents, and they do know one thing. They do things the Indian way, and that's the winning way right now. The season marches on for the Venice Indians. They've been one of the more successful programs over the past 10 seasons, but that state championship has eluded them since 2000. They take on Eastlake Friday night at Venice High School in the regional finals.
Luckily enough, we're going to be able to get them to come to our place, and they're a very disciplined football team with they have a big offensive line, and they like to run right at you. So we have a great opportunity, but also we have a big challenge in front of us. The budding rivalry with Braden River was dispensed with last Friday night, so only 3 wins stand between the Indians and that coveted state championship.
great atmosphere. Our crowd came out, our fans came out, and it was unbelievable. But we just gotta lead down the pass and work hard this week, and have a good week of practice and try to move on and get ready for East Lake.
East Lake is somewhat of a mystery for Coach Peacock and his staff. They'll study all the video they can, but it's only that, video.
It's hard to tell on film because there's really no common opponents. They kind of play all the all the Tampa schools, and they don't really get outside of that little realm of Tampa schools. So we have 0 common opponents. So it's kind of hard to tell.
We have some film on them, and obviously they have film on us. So I think both teams are going to go back through, evaluate that, and really a week like this, we just have to try to get better. Try to perfect our craft, each and every one of us.
Even without knowing what they'll be facing, they know what they themselves are equipped with. They are a scoring machine. They have a star running back, a quarterback who's a leader, and lots of talent on both sides of the ball.
Most important thing is that we just got to have a great week of practice, and we got to make sure that we have all of our blocking assignments down, and we make sure that our defense knows what they're going to be facing, and go out and execute like we've been doing the last 11 weeks.
Now, Scott, the winner of this Venice-East Lake game faces the winner of St. Thomas Aquinas and Mater Academy. St. Thomas looking for their 3rd straight state title and 10th overall. I mean, they're amazing. It always seems like the road to the Suncoast title goes through, or the state title goes through St. Thomas Aquinas for schools here on the Suncoast. But Venice is 11-0, and they put scores up in the 60s, 50s, 40s. So it may, well, they got to get past East Lake first, and then we'll worry about St. Thomas Aquinas. 7:30 Friday night.
They'll have a packed stadium, I'm sure, down there in Venice. All right. Don, thank you so much. Let's get back to the kitchen there. John is with our guest chef today, Chef Eddie Izeri from Apollonia Mediterranean Grill. Guys?
Always love Chef Eddie in the kitchen. Always cooks up something tasty and delicious. Good to have you in here, sir.
Thank you, John.
And you're cooking up not quite steak and eggs, but close to it.
Close to it. So we got lamb and eggs.
Lamb and eggs.
Yes, we have a pistachio-crusted wreck of lamb and served with couscous and a sunny-side-up egg in it. That egg works really good with the couscous, and it's something different. It's definitely unique.
I bet it does work
really
well.
Good.
Yeah.
So I'll get some started here.
Okay.
We do have a full rack of lamb here. At the restaurant, we do use domestic rack of lamb, but if you can't find it or it's very pricey, you could use New Zealand. That's very good as well, too. But it's going to be a little bit smaller. So I'm going to use a small portion here of the rack of lamb, and I'm going to clean it up in front of you guys so that way everybody gets to see it. So we'll move this to the side.
Why do you have your cutting board covered in cellophane?
So that way my board stays clean, and
good tip.
Yeah. So that way I could just unwrap it, and then it's I can put it back in the drawer. So
don't
it's
have
clean.
to worry about cross contamination or anything.
Exactly.
Like that? Okay,
exactly.
good.
So I'm going to clean some of the fat on top. This is called the cap. The blue markings here, it ensures me that it's been inspected by USDA and it's graded, and you always want that because that means that somebody checked it, somebody said, this is good stuff.
Now, you're not taking off all the fat there, it doesn't look like.
No, I'm not taking all the fat. Obviously, you want the flavor. That's where the fat comes from.
Okay.
You have to remember that the loin here, it's very, very lean, just like filet mignon. So you want to leave some of that fat, too, so that way the meat doesn't dry.
Okay.
That's why you always see, like, fillets with some kind of sauce on top.
So you're turning it into kind of a little self-basting thing.
That's right. Yep. So we got a really nice hot pan. We're just going to season this very simply, salt and pepper. And remember, we're going to be using pistachios to crust this, so we don't want to salt it too much because our pistachios are already salted. So I'll be searing it very, very well here so it gets nice and brown.
So you start to do the searing before you put the pistachio crust on?
That's right, yes.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to move here to my food processor. If you don't have a food processor at home, you could use a knife. Just, take your time, be a little patient to chop up the pistachios. The pistachios should be shelled and salted unless you want to sit there and crack open and shell all the pistachios. Might get a little loud in here, but it'll be fine.
Yeah, that beats chopping them with a knife, no doubt about it.
For sure. A little bit more. All right. You don't want to overdo it because you want to get that crunch, and that's what we're going for. So you'll get that flavor from the pistachio and the nuttiness, and then you want the crunch. So
we've got about 1 minute left.
Oh, it's going by pretty fast. So we got some breadcrumbs, and then we have some fresh herbs. I got some rosemary and mint and thyme and oregano in there.
Ooh,
so
nice.
we'll mix this up very well.
Nice combination.
So we'll bring it over here. The lamb should be very well seared and brown.
Let's pretend that it has been. I know it takes longer in a kitchen, but on TV time, we're going to pretend it's already browned
So before that, we got a little bit of Dijon mustard. You want the Dijon mustard because it's going to add some vinegar and some acidity to the lamb, so it'll go really well with that fat.
Nice. Probably also, you know, kind of a substitute for your egg wash, right?
That's right. Yeah. So we'll stick to that. So just like that, and then we'll pop it in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how you like it done.
Okay. No oil on it?
No,
Nothing
just
that?
like this.
Okay.
And then we'll put this in the oven.
We pop it in the magic oven, and alakazam, time has passed, and looky there.
That's right. So it should look something like that.
Wow.
Now, I didn't have time to get started on the couscous, but I knew that time would go pretty fast, so I do have already some made.
Great.
So we'll plate that right now.
Okay.
So the couscous here, it has a little bit of cream, a little bit of feta, some tomatoes, some arugula, and so it's really, really flavorful. So it's almost like a couscous risotto style, so it's really unique. It's really nice.
While you plate that up, I just want to remind everybody that the recipe for this is on our website, mysuncoast.com, and the final product looks like that. My goodness, I am ready to tuck into it right now. I'm telling you what, that looks so good. That looks like those flavors are going to get together just so beautifully.
They really do. They're really nice.
And that's on the menu?
It's on the menu, yes.
All right.
Rack of lamb.
Apollonia Grill. Check them out. Good Mediterranean food. Chef Eddie, thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving to you, sir.
Thank you, John. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
An important message for Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you receiving all the benefits available to you? Do you know there is money available to lower your Medicare prescription costs? Now's the time to find the coverage that's right for you at the right price. The way to do that is to explore your options. You can spend hours doing that yourself, or you can call Health Markets and let us do the legwork for you with no cost or obligation. We'll search a variety of plans from nationally recognized companies to find the coverage that's the best fit for you at a price that fits your budget, and we'll do it at no charge to you. Plus, you may be able to save money on prescriptions. We'll tell you if you qualify. Why pay a penny more than you have to for an insurance policy? Let us find you the right plan at the right price and see if you qualify to lower your prescription costs. Put our free service to work for you at no charge.
Call the number on the screen now to make sure you're getting all the benefits you deserve. Don't wait. Call now.
Why wait until the turkey has left you feeling tired? The Black Friday sales event has already started at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Ram trucks are built tough enough to help you conquer whatever the day may throw your way with all the technology and comfort you'd find in a luxury vehicle. Right now, get over 20% off. That's up to $15,000 off a new Ram 1500. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Christmas Tradition by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
Gold fever has once again swept the nation, and everyone is rushing to Florida to strike it doubly rich. Introducing the $5 million Gold Rush Doubler. We're doubling cash prizes for over $752 million in payouts, and 36 prizes from $1 million to $5 million. The Florida Gold Rush is on. The Florida Lottery, just imagine.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. A man charged with killing a police officer in San Antonio, Texas, admits the officer did not deserve his fate. Police say 31-year-old Otis McCain was angry with the court system for not letting him see his son, and he took out his anger on, quote, somebody who did not deserve it. Detective Benjamin Marconi was shot to death while sitting in his car in traffic on Sunday. McCain is charged now with capital murder. President-elect Donald Trump is continuing to take meetings as he looks to round out his top administration post. But there are other meetings Trump has taken that are raising questions on ethics, even from members of his own party. And as you might expect, the president-elect was firing back on Twitter. ABC's Lana Zach has more.
I want the next generation of production and innovation to happen right here.
President-elect Donald Trump posted a video outlining his agenda once inaugurated, tackling trade deals, restrictions on energy production, immigration, and imposing a lobbying ban for all workers in the executive branch. That lobbying ban intended to separate business interests from the public interest, an issue that with Mr. Trump's portfolio poses a challenge, says ABC News contributor and former Bush-Cheney strategist Matt Dowd.
You cannot take advantage or benefit from a foreign state or a foreign government. That's a huge problem for Donald Trump.
There have already been a few meetings that seem to blur the line between business and government, first with real estate developers in India and now a British politician who the New York Times reports may have been lobbied about the Trump golf course in Scotland. Now the first House Republican is breaking ranks to criticize Mr. Trump's many business entanglements, writing, "You rightly criticized Hillary for Clinton Foundation. If you have contracts with foreign governments, it's certainly a big deal too." Meanwhile, supporter Rudy Giuliani said he could see the president-elect dropping his pledge to call for an investigation into his former rival Hillary Clinton, but he could go either way.
There's a tradition in American politics that after you win an election, you sort of put things behind you. I'd also be supportive of continuing the investigation.
And regardless of what Mr. Trump decides, it's worth noting that in this country, the president does not decide who should or shouldn't be prosecuted. That decision is intended to be made by investigators based on evidence, independent of politics. Lana Zach, ABC News, Washington.
New at noon, some alarming warnings for those planning to travel out of the country this holiday season. The U.S. State Department advising people traveling in Europe to be aware of a heightened risk of terrorist attacks. The advisory issued yesterday says credible information indicates that Islamic State and al-Qaeda militants continue to plan attacks in Europe around the holidays. Travelers are encouraged to be cautious, especially at outdoor festivals and markets. Activists are demanding Tampa's mayor make the city a sanctuary city where local law enforcement do not cooperate with federal immigration authorities. Those activists say they're concerned President-elect Donald Trump would deport some undocumented immigrants. And to protect them, they're asking the mayor to designate Tampa as a no-touch zone. Mayor Bob Buckhorn was in New York when he was made aware of the request. He'll return to Tampa tomorrow. And take a look at this. Astonishing aerial footage shot earlier today in Japan shows large tsunami waves triggered by an earthquake. The magnitude 7.4 quake struck in the same region that was devastated by a tsunami and much larger quake that killed about 18,000 people. That was back in 2011. Damage from this one was much less severe. About 12 people were hurt. The first tsunami waves hit about 1 hour after the earthquake, with the highest one being about 5 feet in height. A tsunami warning was issued, but was then lifted about 4 hours later. Quite a difference from that one we'll never forget several years ago. But
yeah, but at one point they were predicting 10-foot waves. I'm sure that scared a lot of people over there.
Head for high ground.
You're not kidding. Yeah, I remember, like 2 years later, there was still stuff washing up on California from
yeah, Washington State, Oregon, all along the coast.
Along the coast, yeah. Amazing. I remember one touching story. They found a boat, and in the boat was a photo album, and they actually were able to return the photo album to the original owner. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
We are looking at some very calm, tranquil conditions around here. Boy, the Van Wezel webcam picking up a beautiful sunrise this morning. Dawn broke uneventfully with a beautiful blue sky, and still we have a lot of blue sky out there as I speak. The temperatures, of course, responding to all that daytime heating. Dew point still very low. No rain in today's forecast. Titan radar of the entire state, actually, devoid of any echoes, as there's hardly a cloud wall to wall, top to bottom in the peninsula. So we are looking at a pretty nice day today. Much warmer than yesterday. We'll probably top it out in the mid to upper 70s today. We'll look for a daytime high that is very comfortable indeed. We'll have the complete forecast for you coming up in a few.
All right, John, thank you. A Philadelphia man is in the hospital after police say he opened a piece of mail that then exploded. Philadelphia police say that explosion happened inside the kitchen where the 62-year-old man lives. The package had a power source and loop switch, and when it detonated, there was a smell of sulfur. Philadelphia police and other agencies are now investigating. In consumer news, new developments this afternoon on a Takata recall for General Motors. U.S. regulators are now allowing GM to delay a large recall of potentially defective airbags. This gives the company more time to prove that the devices are safe and to possibly avoid a huge financial hit. Back in May, GM reluctantly recalled 2.5 million vehicles to replace Takata inflators. But if GM proves the inflators are safe, this recall could be canceled. The newest edition of the blockbuster video game series Call of Duty is making a major change while trying to better reflect our military. ABC's Kanya Whitworth explains.
They are ingrained in youth culture, video games, and the controllers are mostly in the hands of young boys. But this year, games are growing in popularity with young girls. Quickly becoming mainstream entertainment, the video game industry topping $23 billion nationally in 2015. The movie industry far behind, garnering just $11 billion in comparison. The most popular of all, Call of Duty, beat the highly anticipated box office opening of Star Wars: Force Awakens.
Saul, you with me?
For the first time this year, a female lead has been written into the full performance capture, futuristic, military-style game.
Having a woman in the game, you must look at that as such a privilege.
The military is making steps to integrate more female involvement, and so I think that the rest of our society needs to be reflecting that.
Actress Jamie Gray Hyder personifies Lieutenant Nora Salter. She leads players through a narrative mix between a Top Gun fighter pilot and a Navy SEAL.
I think demystifying this notion of a female soldier, a female leader who's strong and capable, and putting that out there in the mainstream is a powerful thing to do.
In order for the game to be as realistic as possible for players, Hyder trained with former Navy SEAL Mitchell Hall to make sure she could handle herself as a real soldier would.
You know, I personally believe men and women are different, and that's a good thing, and we perceive things differently. I think it's going to be very interesting to pull them onto the battlefield over the next few years and see what they bring to the table.
Hall also working with Kit Harington, who plays the antagonist.
In regards to training our actors, there was actually no difference in training, Jamie versus some of the other guys.
Game makers attempting excellent by pushing the boundaries. Can this gamer world transcend?
Having a female role model is good for, even if there's girl gamers out there, they can relate to the person.
Kana Whitworth, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Still ahead on ABC 7 News at noon, Linda Carson will take us to a neighborhood with a history rich in the early development of Sarasota. We'll take you there next.
ABC 7's My Suncoast News app is better than ever with a brand new design that's faster and easier to use. Download our free My Suncoast News app on your mobile device at your app store of choice. Powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life. ABC 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you weeknights at 5.
Selling your home? Insist on a 3D showcase tour from Gulf Shores Realty. Virtual tours are flat and boring and look more like a slideshow than a tour. A 3D tour from Gulf Shores Realty is like actually walking through the home without the drive. Get instant access to your next home from any device. Multiple views give homebuyers a perspective like no other. For a limited time, mention ABC7 and Gulf Shores Realty will provide a complimentary 3D tour with your new listing.
This holiday season, give the greatest gifts of all, safety and peace of mind. Subaru offers more 2016 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus winners than any other brand. And now, during the Subaru Share the Love event, you can lease the most award-winning small SUV on the planet. A new 2017 Subaru Forester for just $209 a month. Or get 0% financing. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Types of timber, cuts of meat,
Cooking times, temperatures, rubs, seasonings, sauces. You name it, they know it. That's what makes them who they are, Sonny's Pitmasters. And proud of it. Come get some baby back ribs at Sonny's Barbecue. On their own or paired with favorites like jalapeno cheddar hot links or pulled or sliced pork plus 2 sides and bread. Sonny's Barbecue. Local Pitmasters since '68.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Looking at an air temperature outside that's very toasty at 76 degrees, but a dew point that's very comfortable in the 20s. That 20-degree dew point to me is superb. You don't get that very often. Got it yesterday, got it again today. It'll probably be the last day that we see that. Our dew points will start to increase because of the east-northeast component to our wind now, easterly. So in about 12 to 24 hours, we'll see that easterly wind transport moisture from the Atlantic into our neck of the woods. 70 Parrish, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch, 71 Myakka, Arcadia, 70 Wauchula, 70 in Inglewood, 71 in Venice. The forecast calls for that easterly wind to continue for the next several days. That brings us a chance of a few more clouds over the next several days as the moisture from the Atlantic moves into our neck of the woods. Haven't seen it lately because the air has been so dry and the component of the wind has been taking it mostly over land out of the northeast. Now, with a more easterly component, the distance, the real estate here that moisture has to move across is much less. So we're more likely to see our dew points increase, and that'll keep our nighttime temperatures a little bit warmer as well. So it's kind of a nice thing, I guess. We have a low pressure area back to the west. It's producing heavy amounts of snow in just to the west of areas around Denver. So ski resorts there, we're doing the happy dance because they're finally getting some snowfall there and can actually make some snow in that cold air. Plus the low pressure area as it tracks off to the north and the east is producing a lot of freezing rain up around Minneapolis, St. Paul. The low will continue to move up towards Chicago, spreading rain showers and eventually some snow flurries up there. And a frontal boundary line of showers will begin to develop over the next 12 to 24 hours. Some of it could produce some severe weather all the way up into the Ohio Valley. All that for one of the busiest travel days of the year tomorrow. The low pressure area and the frontal boundary will be pushed through our area, at least the front will, on Friday, but in a much weaker form. You'll hardly even notice its passage. So a bit warmer today, lots of sunshine, no rain in the forecast. Forecast calling for a little extra cloud cover. Watch the effect of this easterly wind kind of pushing those clouds in our direction. So on Thanksgiving Day, there'll be a few clouds around, but I think the showers will remain over on the other coast, and they'll just be sprinkles for the most part. I think this computer model kind of overdoes it just a little bit. Into the tropics we go. We're not done with the hurricane season yet, and we may have one more hurricane to talk about before I think the season kind of winds down. Very far south for a hurricane. This system will continue to track off to the east. Not quite a hurricane yet, 4 miles away from that, but Tropical Storm Otto is forecast to become a Cat 1 system briefly as it moves across Nicaragua. Could deposit a whole lot of rainfall there. And in fact, it could actually remain intact as it crosses South America and re-enters into the Pacific Basin. So it doesn't happen very often, but once in a while it does. And we'll be watching to see if that does occur. Forecast for us looks pretty good. The winds out of the north-northeast coming in at about 5 to 10, kind of subsiding a little bit this afternoon. 2-foot seas, light chop. Had a couple of tides today. Next one is at 2 o'clock. That's the low tide. High tide comes at 8:19. And the forecast calls for continued warming over the next several days until we get to the weekend when a series of fronts will kind of keep us in the mid to upper 70s. Back to you, Scott.
All right, John, thank you so much. While driving through the area, you may be surprised how unique many of the neighborhoods are, often different from the neighborhood right next door. ABC 7's Linda Carson features one of those neighborhoods in a place we call home.
Tahiti Park is just off US 41.
I'm 3 houses from Tamiami, and you would have no idea that we're in this little park setting.
It is a park setting. Tahiti Park has a pond, huge old trees, lush vegetation, and is bordered by Whitaker Park, the Sarasota Bay, and the Whitaker Bayou.
We love our neighborhood because it's of the canopy tree entrance. I think that's one of the things you'll find that everybody says when they come here is, you know, they drive in from 41 and they drive in and all of a sudden there's this tunnel of trees and everybody always remarks, wow, this is so beautiful. I didn't know this neighborhood was back here.
Ancient Indians once lived here.
We have the Indian middens, which are right over here, which are, you know, 1,000 years old. And then we have over on the bayou, which was where Whitaker lived, which is the first official citizen of the city of Sarasota.
Mimi Mean's great-grandfather, Sidney Clark, bought his land from Whitaker.
My great-grandfather settled in this neighborhood in the early 1900s, had a house on the point of the bay in Whitaker Bayou.
It was very different back then.
When my great-grandfather moved here, it was very sparse. There were no other houses in the area, and there were chickens living in the road and lots of mosquitoes.
Her great-grandfather first owned the house that they live in now.
The house we're in was actually a wedding present to his daughter-in-law in 1926, Mimi's grandmother, who lived here until her death in the late 70s.
There's another historic house nearby.
There's a home over here on Sarasota Bay that was built in 1910, and it used to be a fish lodge where people would go and stay overnight before they would go out on the bay and go fishing.
The houses are vastly different from one another.
We have modern homes over here as well, newer homes that were built. One just across the street over here, Catty Corner, is a beautiful modern home. And I think it adds to the eclectic mix of our neighborhood. So this historic, the 50s, and then the very modern feel with the Sarasota School of Architecture. It all mixes well to make our great diverse neighborhood even stronger.
It's a small neighborhood, only 53 lots.
But we're a very strong neighborhood. We are all very different and diverse, but yet we still come together when we have neighborhood issues. It's very important. We look out for each other.
Tahiti Park was officially established as a neighborhood in 1947, and residents say from that day to this, it is a great place to call home. Linda Carson, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Linda, thank you so much. Entertainment news is next.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's at 58 years old.
For me, it was heart-wrenching.
It takes a toll on everyone. I mean, it's a depressing disease to watch unfold before your eyes.
You just don't see the person's soul is like gone.
This disease just ravages a family.
It changes your life.
The magnitude of it is indescribable.
Now is the moment. If we work together, we can stop this epidemic.
Contact Bright Focus and learn more.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
I'm Linda Carson. On Suncoast View, Sailor Circus shows off their talented kids, plus Thanksgiving pet trends, gingerbread houses, and the Longboat Key Club in the kitchen.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
Download ABC7's free all-new news app at your app store today.
The kitchen is where life happens. Minnesota Flooring now offers a wide variety of beautiful quality craft-made cabinetry to make sure the heart of your home reflects your style. Visit us today at our new kitchen and bath cabinetry locations.
They care. They take the time to understand you, take the time to understand your case.
There's no better satisfaction to me than to see a client who is happy because of the job we've done for them.
It's really actually very comforting to know that there's someone that you've heard of and you're getting recommendations about that you can turn to when you have a problem.
I felt like I had a partner in this, and he was going to be by my side.
Batteries Plus bulbs keep stacks of batteries for cars, cell phones, watches, plus light bulbs for lamps, can lights, and appliances right on hand. Did I mention we also repair smartphones? Batteries Plus bulbs. Trust the plus. Visit Batteries Plus bulbs today.
Michael Phelps has taken another step to put an official seal on his retirement. ESPN and NBC Sports report Phelps told reporters he's removed himself from USA Swimming's drug testing program. Phelps ended his previous retirement after the 2012 games by rejoining that same program. Phelps says he's done with competitive swimming, but he's never too far away from the pool. He also wants to spend more time with his family. He was married in June and is now the father to a baby boy. Finally, it's quite a regal story coming out of Manatee County. 22-year-old Jerkoya Waiters was crowned the newest Miss Manatee this past weekend. According to the Bradenton Herald, the Palmetto native hopes her new title will give her a chance to compete and win the Miss Florida pageant. Next year will be her third time competing for the big crown, but she's hoping 3 times is a charm. Only 2 Miss Americas have ever come from Florida, and they were from Orlando and Jacksonville, and who knows, maybe the next one is from Palmetto.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Very beautiful young lady.
Yes,
wish her well.
Yes, we wish her a lot of luck in that effort. And wow, what another gorgeous day ahead of us, huh?
I'm going to miss that 29-degree dew point.
Yeah.
But still, the rest of the week looks pretty nice as well, so no complaints.
Awesome. Thank you, John. Thank you for joining us. Invite you back at 5 o'clock. Hope to see you then.